What's up, everybody? It's Chad. I'm just recording this intro for what we've come to affectionately refer to as our Skyrim Storytime cast. When we were recording our Skyrim episode, we went for quite a while, and as I was making cuts, I realized that a pretty good way to trim down on the overall length of the episode was going to be to just remove the places where we were just telling stories. And as a lot of people who've played Skyrim can tell you, you end up with a lot of stories that are based on the way that you interact with the game and all of its many systems. We didn't feel like these stories necessarily were additive to the points that we were trying to make, but I, and, Andy and JJ to a lesser extent, find them hilarious, and so I decided to compile them all together and release them as this sort of bonus episode. So, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the stories. And hopefully you'll come back next week when we kick off our first part of our now 2-part episode chronicling our adventures with Dark Souls. Thanks.
All right.
Okay, JJ.
Yeah.
So, in relation to your story earlier, where you dashed off of like a cliff and fell 10 feet and died,
Yes.
I've got a similar story. First time I was playing through the game, so I was probably maybe
3 or 4 years old.
I was probably maybe 10 hours into the game max at this point. And I was I saved up enough gold to buy my first horse because it seemed like a good idea. So I saved up the gold. I can't remember how much horses cost, they're kind of pricey. So I saved up the gold, I bought the horse. And was riding out through the overworld. I'm a new horse.
Proud,
and it's Skyrim field, so it's got rolling hills. So I'm galloping along on the horse, and I go up, I get to the top of a hill, and the horse jumps, and it's maybe it maybe falls 6-7 feet, something that a horse should be horses just jump that high, and they land just fine, and they keep on going because they're horses. Their body's like a huge muscle.
Yeah.
So I make the jump, and the horse lands and just dies immediately.
No broken legs.
It was not injured. It just died. It just collapsed. I had the horse maybe 8 minutes. Literally just bought it at Whiterun and was just riding off through the field. And it died by falling
oh man,
off a porch.
And you were in third person too, weren't you?
Yes.
So you got to see the crumpling of the horse.
Yes.
Well, actually, when you're on a horse, it forces you into third person, so...
Regardless, the only important feature is that you got to see the horse go into, the Skyrim ragdoll.
Yeah, it just ragdolled immediately when it's
ragdolled, and I was fine. I think, if I remember correctly.
The way that Skyrim deals with damage like that is, when the horse takes damage... If, whatever the damage-causing thing is, only, interacts with the horse's hitbox, then it just considers you to not have anything to do with it, and applies the damage to the horse. That's why...
Which was all of its health, apparently.
Yeah, it just killed the horse immediately. That's why,
it's a level
the
1
game,
horse.
Yeah. That horse had not done much questing prior to that. Throughout the game, I never bought any horses, but I did steal a lot of horses, and I would basically use them like you would use a parachute. So, I would just get a horse from the top of a mountain and just ride it straight off a cliff so that I could descend long heights. Without taking damage, because the horse would die and ragdoll, and then I would walk the remainder of the distance.
Okay, was your goal in this?
I thought you were gonna say you use them like you would use a rental car or something. You're no, parachute.
You're actually more efficient than a parachute because you get to your destination much faster.
Okay, so your goal here was actually, there was a destination you were going. You weren't just skydiving recreationally.
It wasn't for fun. It was fun. It became for fun.
Skyrim diving.
How did you learn this the first time?
Because I remember there's a screenshot on my Steam page that I'll pull up for you guys at some point of me, overlooking a bandit camp, and a horse, and like I'm on a horse, and we're just on like a 30-degree incline, like completely defying all laws of physics. Horse just like perpendicular to the plane that I'm standing on.
I've seen pictures like this online.
Right, and so all I did was then, after taking that screenshot, like started to move 2 feet to the right and just slid off the cliff, fell all the way into the bandit camp. The horse died, and then I just kept moving. Yeah. So then I was like, oh, because like the way that you get horses, as far as I'm concerned, is you find an innocent dude in the woods who has a horse, and you kill him, and then you take his horse.
I believe that there are many in the world of Skyrim who appear to agree with you on that.
Yeah. You just, anytime that there are no witnesses,
there is no law.
Yeah. There's no crime if nobody knew about it.
Yes.
That is the way the Skyrim operates.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I tried to, like, roleplay my first character.
I did too, which is why I bought my horse.
In case anyone was wondering, we're back from the break.
Oh yeah, there was a break.
But I did like, I mean, it wasn't like, I wasn't like super into it or anything, but like I do in most games, and like I feel like most people do, I wanted to be a generally good dude. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do the horse parachute technique until much later.
You were a broken man.
Yeah, after like Skyrim became a mess of systems and not like a world that I was exploring. But like during like the first part of the game, I would just like, you know, choose whatever I thought would be like the best dialogue option or whatever. But then I also have these completionist tendencies, and unfortunately there's an achievement for collecting all of the Daedric artifacts. So, the way that I built this into my character story, or at least how I told people I did, was basically I was like a normal, like, sane person with heroic tendencies who would occasionally just get like a voice in his head and just be like, I need to kill this old man and take a stick. And like, so, like, I collected all the Daedric artifacts, but doing that requires you to kill a lot of innocent people and like, do a lot of really like nonsensical bullshit, and sometimes get teleported into a realm to get a staff that sometimes just makes cheese fall on the floor, which is just like exactly the weapon that Skyrim needed. But yeah. But yeah, so that's my story for Skyrim story time, I guess.
Cheese stick.
Yeah, the cheese. Do you not know about this?
No.
Do you know about this?
I think I might know what you're talking about.
I mean, I know of cheese sticks.
Yeah, what like the Elder Scrolls games have
is this associated with the quest line that has you go in like the dude's dream?
Yeah, the Sheogorath.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite quests in the game.
It's super great.
One of like my top 5 for sure.
So,
I wish the game had more shit like this in it.
In your hours of play, by the way, did you ever get to the top? You got to the top. Did you ever actually meet Parthenax?
I don't know what that is.
Well, you told me not to spoil it, but I think that since we're here, and you're likely not going to keep playing Skyrim afterwards.
True!
I'm going to spoil it.
Are you going to tell him the fun fact?
Yeah, I wanted to tell him it like immediately, but then realized that I didn't want to like ruin like the reveal.
Yeah.
So Parthenax is just a dragon. He's an elder dragon, and he's still alive and kicking. He lives on the top of High Hrothgar.
He lives at the throne of the world.
throne of the world.
Maybe.
Right. And he happens to also be voiced by the Super Mario Brothers, Charles Martinet. Doesn't sound like
I'll
Mario.
tell you. Yeah, you get out there, he's like, it's me!
It's me! Let's go!
But the way I found it out is because I came to him in my most recent playthrough, and I was like, he sounds a lot like James Earl Jones. I was like, did they just get James Earl Jones to voice Parthenax?
Yeah, which is not something that would be that surprising
no, it's not,
for Bethesda to do.
It would not.
Right.
So I looked it up, and it's like, I clicked on the actor. It's not James Earl Jones. So I clicked on him, and it's like every Mario game. Like, he's just the voice of Mario, and also Parthenax.
so funny.
And he just sounds like James Earl Jones.
Yeah, like he plays like Mario and Wario.
He plays a couple of Mario characters.
Yeah, a bunch of Mario characters, and then a part of that.
Yeah,
dude,
it's
that's
like almost all his credits are Mario characters, and then
a dragon.
Dude, imagine that, like, that interview. Like, when he's, like, trying to convince them to hire him and stuff. When you have a little lineup of people who are about to judge all these voice actors, you give them the script and all that, and then he comes in, and you, of course, know who the voice of Mario is if you're looking for voice actors. And he just sounds like James Earl Jones instead.
This is bizarre.
I hope that there's like a clip online of him saying "It's a me, Parthenetics."
I feel like
Mario voice.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be right there. Like, I mean, like, you cannot possibly be more typecast than Charles Martinet. Like, you've been doing Mario for like 15 years. Either way, whole point of
maybe they knew him and knew he could do that voice.
That is also
it was like his joke drunk voice.
Yeah.
He would like shift from Mario to James Earl Jones.
He got real drunk and he just started like reciting Mufasa's speech from The Lion King.
They're like, "Oh my god,
you're really good at that."
Anyway, the whole point of like going into that, this is a very Skyrim conversation because I had an express purpose and got sidetracked miserably.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, was so the first thing I did when I was going through the first. I mean, I did the companions quest first, but I actually really hate the companions. So I
like the armor you get. Like I like the companions, like wolf armor.
It's
cool.
it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
But I the first guild that I like actually tried to like get through the quest line in like a timely manner was the guilds the Guilds Guild.
The Guilds Guild.
Yeah, the Guilds Guild. It was the Mages Guild in the college in Winterhold.
Right.
And like
I don't really like that quest line.
I don't either. But I
It's kinda
wanted the
boring.
master level spells and stuff, so I was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. But there was one guy that I hated more than anybody else in that quest line, and that was what are the cats called in this game?
The what?
The cats. What are the cats,
cats.
called?
Oh, are they Khajiit?
Khajiit, yeah. There's this Khajiit guy who just always referred to himself in the third person. And, like, they all say this one and that one and stuff, like, when they refer to themselves, but he specifically used his own name. And I was just like, I fucking hate that guy. 'Cause I already hate the Khajiit, not culturally or anything. I just don't like design of the cat people.
I don't really like it that much either.
And I was like, this guy fucking sucks, and I hate him, and I did the quest line, whatever, and he's one of my, like, followers now, and I can bring him along, but I never fucking want to do it. And I left. And then I played 40 hours of the game, and never thought about him again. Then I ran across one of the Daedra quest lines, and it was like, bring me a sacrifice. And I was like, I got just the guy. Like, fast travel to the Mages Guild. He's like, oh, you finally came back, Archmage. I'm so glad that I can come help you on your quest. And I was like, yeah, you can. I walk his ass like halfway across the map, get up there, and then like just immediately stab him with a dagger.
Did you ever have any like weird like bugs or glitches with like companion characters?
I like almost never carried a companion.
I
with
didn't
me.
my first playthrough, but like I messed with it my second one, and like they get like when you become Thane of Whiterun in the beginning, they give you Lydia. And like I kept her with me for a while, and then she just like disappeared. Like I guess she like I went somewhere and like she just never left the building. Like it was like a bug or something, and then like. I think it was like I was doing the companions quest line, and like I like went into the building, and she just like never came back out with me, and then like she wouldn't be in the building, but like later I came back there, and I was just like outside the building, and she just like comes out and just like rejoins me. I'm like, oh hey,
how you doing?
what are you doing?
I've been getting out of this door for like 7, 8 months.
She decided to party with the companions for a while.
Dude, doors. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was
I had a really stupid thing I was going to say, so go ahead.
And another thing I was going to say is there's like when you continue the main quest line, there's a part where you have like I can't remember any proper nouns for this part, but like there's this woman you meet in Riverwood, and you go into like her inn, and she has like the secret.
Oh, like the
downstairs.
That's literally the last thing I did.
Okay, yeah. So she's part of like this like
the Blades.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the Blades.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so it's her and this old guy, and like you're supposed to like meet them at these ruins, or they're supposed to come with you.
Right.
So I was like, I had them come with me, and I'm like going along, and then like I get to like another another story moment that's like unrelated,
Right.
like, and then so like I have them, I'm like, wait here while I do this thing, and then like I went and did the thing, and then like I followed that thread for a while, and then like I wanted to go back to like the other like quest line. So I made that one active, and then like I went to the place I was supposed to meet them,
Right.
and they just weren't there, and I'm like,
where did I leave them
facepalm, like where did I leave them?
I was really hoping.
And I eventually remembered, and thank God, because if I hadn't, I just wouldn't have been able to continue the game because they just stayed in that place.
Wow. Oh my god.
And hadn't moved.
This is another great example of just like the complete like non-logic that exists in Skyrim.
Yeah.
They're like, we were told to stay here, we're not gonna move. Like that you just like see a time-lapse shot of like the sun and moon flying over their head as they're standing in the same spot.
The Dragonborn told us to stay here.
We're not gonna fuck with
It's
that
part
guy.
of our destiny.
Fortunately, inventories are full of like thousands of raw potatoes that we can eat to stay alive.
I had never encountered any of like the like infamous like weird dragon glitches like in my first playthrough.
I think I only encountered 2 ever, but go ahead.
I did this time for the first time, and it was that same dragon that's in the field with the 2 mammoths.
Right.
I guess the game just couldn't handle rendering.
That's the first time that I had an issue with that guy.
For no reason at all, I just like shot 1,000,000 feet in the air while fighting them.
Yeah, that happened to not me, and I have another screenshot of this. But that I aggroed that dragon, but I had also previously aggroed a giant and a mammoth.
Right.
I was basically fleeing for my life. The situation you described.
Yeah,
before.
exactly the same spot.
Yeah.
Right. And what happened was, I ended up killing the giant because I've been fighting him for like 9 minutes. With just the fireball spell.
Right.
Yeah, I was like really low level at the time. But while this happened, the mammoth and the dragon got into a fight. And the mammoth just started levitating and was fighting the dragon like eye to eye. And hilariously, the mammoth won.
Really?
Like, the mammoth killed the dragon. And I was just watching, and, like, the soul, like, went into me. And I was like, oh. And then I was like...
It goes into the mammoth.
Like, Bustero Daz, the dragon skeleton across the fucking plane of existence.
What have you done, says the rulers of all nearby towns, as all remnants of their society are destroyed by the sky mammoth.
Are you aware of the dragon skeleton magic interaction glitch?
No.
This is the funniest thing in the world to me. If the dragon skeletons for some reason have like some weird physics thing with them, where when they're sitting on the ground after you've killed a dragon, they can be moved by like a strong enough force. If you hit them with a spell, they would just go like flying through the air. Like they just accelerate like 1,000 times. And so you just like, and all of a sudden you just see this dragon just like, like take off like a rocket into the air.
Dude,
that's manipulatable though. Like you can just do that.
I got like a really tiny version of that when I killed the dragon in the very first like horrible death spiral story.
Oh yeah.
It was just that I thought it was really weird and unsettling that like the dragon bones had physics, because I killed it on a hill, so the bones were just sort of slowly sliding backwards. But because of the way it was oriented, it was like looking at me. It was like the dragon was like climbing across the hill as bones and like sliding down back and away.
I actually had no idea the dragon bones had physics.
Right? Because you would assume that, like, oh, it's a giant skeleton, and anytime they depict dragon bones in like an actual like visual medium, they're always supposed to be huge and imposing and like built into the land, the most solid thing, even though you never think of them that way. So seeing them just sort of like havoc physics ragdoll down the hill was
they weigh like such. They must have just given them way too low of like a weight number, because like they just like, and they this is really evident when you like start fucking with them by hitting them with spells, but like they have like a weird malleability to them, so like they just like jiggle. I guess they just connected at the bone joints, and like so they just hit walls and like they'll like mash together and spring. So in this game, dragon skeletons weigh almost nothing. You can put their bones right in your pocket and carry them around. Like, just breaking all dragon conventions, really. But speaking of dragon conventions...
Yeah. See us at Dragon Con?
Yeah, no. Not that. More Skyrim being completely illogical. Whenever you finish a quest line, it doesn't... Whenever you do anything in Skyrim, it doesn't reset, like, any of its physics objects. It just kind of leaves them there.
Yeah.
For a long time. I don't even know when it resets. Like, maybe on a power off, power on? Not sure. When I beat the game, I remember going back to Solitude, and, like, I don't know if other people do this, but I like collecting unique items in games. Like, I just, like, hoard them.
Yeah.
I have 2 sets of the Emperor's clothes. When I killed Orphic Stormcloak, I took all of his stuff. Yeah. All of his stuff. Just took every bit of it. I come back to Solitude.
His dead body
His body is laying, like, upside down with his head resting on the ground and his legs kind of draped around the stairs. With, like, the new leader sitting in the throne directly above him in, like, the Jarl pose. And he's just naked. Like his Stormcloak's dead body is just there in his underwear.
I'm so glad you mentioned the Jarl pose. I have a note on the Jarl pose and why there is just one pose for anyone on a throne. All throne men or women of any race are just like the most arrogant throne pose you can possibly.
That swagger, you know?
And when I noticed it, I thought it was insane. So I went to the other throne. I checked thrones.
Throne checking our teammates. But no, I remember being in Solitude, and there's a dragon that shows up like while you're in the city.
Mm.
And like I was just like, I'm not gonna deal with that right now. Like, fuck that dragon. Right. So I just like went and did some other stuff, and like I remember like coming back out, and like the guards had just killed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like laying there in the street, and I'm like, oh, take that soul.
And one of the most like bullshit moves ever, if you buy the Legendary Edition of Skyrim, or if you just buy the base game and all the DLC at the same time, the cultists who are like the introduction to the Dragonborn DLC show up like really early, and they will just hand you your ass.
I beat them first try.
I did too, but I just made the guards do it. Like, I just, like, ran through the town and attracted all the guards, and they just beat up the cultists.
Yeah, that was one of the points at which I earlier got, like, oh, here's a thing that, too, he kills me, I'll leave now, was I started, like, the quest line incited by those cultists, which I didn't know was DLC until I opened the map at one point and was like, I'm not on the same continent.
Yeah.
And why I've put 800 hours into Monster Hunter for you.
God, 800 hours.
Well, it's only 740 on my main character.
That's longer than I played Super Monday Night Combat.
Yeah. It's also more convenient to play than Super Monday Night. Nobody can see this, but I'm currently like holding one arm and rocking back and forth.
And scratching. He stopped scratching, like, he was scratching. Yeah.
Trying to like defend that I don't have a problem. You know what, kids? fuck reading.
So, like, right before I came over here, I think literally the very last thing that I did was I was in the inn talking to that Blades woman we discussed earlier about the next part of the quest, and she was, like, revealing all the mysterious stuff, and now we're going to, like, go over the countryside to get to this place. But while we're in there, the other man, who's, like, her little lackey guy who just works there, is sweeping. But he's trying to do something with my character, I assume. So he's sweeping around and, like, notices our conversation, like, turns to look at me while I'm talking to this other woman, like, center screen, and he comes over, like, as close as a model can get to another model. Now, and I was already kind of close to the other woman, so it's just a sweeping guy just being like, sweep. He's, like, not saying anything, direct eye contact, just endless sweeping.
The eye contact in this game is, like, just super funny. Because, like, any NPC that you can interact with will just, like, glare at you. And, like, so during conversations and stuff, you'll just have, like, people, like, looking at you like they walk by.
You know what we never talked about? Is the voice acting.
Oh, how they have, like, the same dude do every voice.
It's like the same 10 voice actors do all the voices.
It's like of all the places for them to skimp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They went with that.
It's like every, like, male shopkeeper has the same voice.
Yeah. That's always
really
so
weird.
to me.
Yeah, if they wanted to really stay with the, like, quantity over quality vibe, they should have just had every single person who works at Bethesda just pick a character.
And also some guys, like, just on the street.
Yeah. Obviously, you still get, like, the big name guys for people who are going to be talking a lot.
Right.
But for, Joe Tavern douchebag.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, like, just some hunter out in the woods who's just going to kill and take his horse.
Yeah. You can just make that guy's, like, screaming death animation. Just
some guy, just scream.
Just pick one guy who's, like, in the Bethesda office and be like, you seem like you'd be able to imitate being stabbed really well, and you stab him.
Yeah. You would just actually stab him.
Oh, you gotta be
authentic.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd be like, Chad, don't do it.